As we know, police officers were on the front lines defending the United States Capitol on January 6th. For many of them, and even for the Capitol Police Force as a whole, the year since has been difficult. Lisa Desjardins begins there.
1 year later, some officers, like U.S. Capitol Police Officer Harry Dunn, are still recovering from the emotional scars of that day. Others, like Capitol Police Sergeant Aquilino Gonell, are still recovering from the physical toll. Gonell recently tweeted out graphic photos showing the gashes and bruises from crushing and other injuries to his shoulder, to his hands, and to his foot. Dunn and Gonell co-wrote this op-ed today for the Washington Post, demanding accountability for the Capitol riot. Officer Harry Dunn and Sergeant Aquilino Gonell join me now. Thank you both so much for protecting the Capitol, me personally, and thank you for joining us now. And I want to start first off with that op-ed. You had strong words in that. One sentence that you wrote was this. You wrote, "It will not be enough to identify and punish only those who physically attacked the Capitol and tried to disrupt the peaceful transfer of power." Those are strong words. Sergeant Gonell, who do you mean there, and what do you want to happen in terms of that accountability?
Oh, there's a lot of people who are involved with what transpired on January 6th, including some of the elected officials that even after we put our bodies at risk of injuries and even death, like Officer Signey, they continue to downplay this tragic, horrific event of January 6th. And it's mind-boggling that what they do, trying to downplay everything.
It sounds like you're talking about politicians. Is that right? Being
Yes,
held more accountable.
elected officials that on January 6th, on January 7th, they all knew where to put the blame and point the finger at. They all knew that the president for almost 3 hours did not do his job. And it pains me that 16 blocks away, he was watching everything on TV, despite the horrific images that were coming live on TV. I didn't see on TV, but I'm sure by then everybody around the country were watching it with their own eyes, as I was battling those people in the lower west entrance, as people know it now, the tunnel.
You're talking about the former president, and former President Trump put out a statement just in the last few weeks calling what happened on January 6th an unarmed protest. Also, at one point, Officer Dunn, Fox News host Tucker Carlson, called you a, quote, angry left-wing activist. This is the battle now, a battle of words over what happened on January 6th. And Officer Dunn, I want to ask you, how do you respond to people who say that your accounts and the way people look at it are exaggerated and perhaps it wasn't that bad?
Well, thanks for having me on. Happy New Year to you. Angry left-wing activist. When I heard that, I had to stop and think about it for a little bit. It's fair to say I am angry. I'm a registered Democrat, so I guess I'm a left-wing. And if activist means somebody who's standing up for what's right and fighting for what they believe in, then sure, I'll be that. But outside of that, I don't have any response to him or anybody over at that network, because it just seems like they like to talk about people and not to people. So if they're interested in having an actual conversation about the facts about what happened that day, I'd be happy to talk to them. But until then, I'm just going to keep on talking to people that matter and fighting for accountability and justice for what happened that day.
If I may, you're talking about people who never raised their hand to say, hey, I don't solemnly swear to protect and defend this country and the Constitution. They never done that. So they are talking from their office and in comfort, despite us doing the hard work and protecting and serving something that they never thought about doing themselves, both as a police officer or as a military person.
You wrote in your op-ed that you feel there is an effort to whitewash what happened on January 6th. What do you mean by that, Officer Dunn?
You know, just a simple downplaying. Just like recently, I wasn't aware that what the former president's statement was that you just quoted. I wasn't aware of that statement, but I guess that's the perfect definition to the answer to your question about what they're trying to whitewash it and, an unarmed demonstration. I would like to refer to it as a terrorist attack. I went through it, and a lot of my coworkers physically hurt still to this day, 1 year later. And there's so much that we do not know about what happened that day. And we're starting to find out more and more about what happened that day. So I think we just need to continue to sit back and let all the facts come out. And it will no longer be people's opinions that are valid once all the facts are out on the table. So
I'm interested in talking to both of you. First, you, Sergeant Gonell, about why you think January 6th happened. You saw the faces of your fellow Americans attacking you. Why do you think, what was driving them? What's going on here, Sergeant?
During the last almost 5 years, we have an individual telling a lot of people the system is rigged. If I lose, but if I win, it's okay. Everything is okay. And people are susceptible to lies. And the way that he was amplifying it made it even worse. Coupling that with the type of charges that some of these insurrectionists are getting, and people can see that as a way to explain it to themselves and say, you know what, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as horrific as they say, but it was horrific. If you were in that entrance to the Lower West Terrace, it was do or die. It was, these people were trying to hurt officer in fully clothed police uniform.
Officer Dunn, do you think this danger is still here? Where are we right now in terms of the threat to democracy from your view?
It's scary to think about where we are. Like, sure, we succeeded as far as our mission that day. Democracy went on late in the night, January 6th into January 7th. Democracy prevailed. But I think it's very important for everybody now to realize how close and fragile democracy is, and that everybody, even anybody watching, anybody listening, has a job to do in protecting and defending democracy. That could be us police officers, we police. The legislators, the lawmakers, they need to do their job and legislate. The judges judge, and the American people need to vote about who to put into those positions. That we need accountability, and we need to make sure the right people are in office that want accountability also.
How's the police force doing? How is the U.S. Capitol Police Force doing? I know there have been improvements that they announced today, more equipment, but we also know that some 200 officers have left since January 6th. Recruiting is tough. Officer Dunn, how's the police force?
I don't really want to speak for everybody else, so I'll just speak on some things that I know. We're still hurting. A lot of people are struggling with what happened. I'm still upset, but I'm recovering. I'm starting to heal, but I don't think total healing can happen until accountability has been had. So,
Sergeant Gonell, how are you doing?
I'm okay. I mean, there are days things comes in waves. It hit you left and right. There are times that I'm okay for a minute, then something, a word or a sound or a smell will trigger some of the things that happened back at work on that day. And going back to the question that you posed to Harry, the former president still wields a lot of influence over these people, and I'm worried that in the future he could just tweet something or make a statement, and the same people who were on January 6, 2021, they could end up back at the Capitol. Yes, we have made a lot of improvement. Yes, we have a lot of training, but the forces that culminated and on January 6th, they're still in place, and that's why we need accountability. That's why we want to hold those responsible
I know you both were facing the thick of the fighting, and we talk a lot about the difficulties of that day, but I also know you found some bright spots in the hundreds of letters and tweets of support. And I just have to thank you all for speaking to us tonight, Officers Harry Dunn and Sergeant Aquilino Gonell. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Happy New Year.
For having us.